Have you ever wondered why the rich get richer and richer while the broke just keep on struggling? It's not because the richer are luckier, and it's not because they work harder necessarily. In fact, some of the hardest people I know are broke. The truth is, wealthy people don't just work for money, they see money differently. They play a completely different game. And here's the thing most people don't see. If you don't change how you think about money, doesn't matter how much you make. That's why most people who win the lottery or receive a huge inheritance end up broke again. In this video, I'm going to show you, yes you, I'm going to break down 4 shifts that wealthy people take in their mind, shifts that keep them getting richer and richer while most people stay stuck. And once you get them, you can't unsee them, and you can start playing the real money game. So check out this video. I don't know if you remember at school starting to learn algebra. Maybe something as simple as A plus B equals C. And you had to start learning why the numbers represent letters and all those sorts of things. But then you started to learn formulas. And with a formula, that could help you to find an answer, a solution to a problem. For example, in trigonometry, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, right? So this is the triangle, this is c, this is b, and this is a. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So if you have any of the 2 of those numbers, you can figure out the other ones from the formula, right? Does that make sense? In life, there's formulas. And if we learn formulas, then we can apply them to our lives. And often we only learn some formulas, and until we learn better formulas or more developed formulas, we're stuck using the simple formula that we learned to start off with. So here I want to unpack some key formulas, some key ways of thinking to help you learn better and how to solve bigger problems. So principle number one is leverage over labor. Most people are taught to trade labor for money, to go get a job, work an hour, and get paid for an hour. And that's the school system. That's time equals money, right? If you've only learned that formula, that way of achieving that outcome to get some money is by trading my time, then you'll only look for solutions for that you only can use that formula to get the outcome that you desire. But here's the truth. Time is not equal to money. It's infinitely more valuable than money. Because money can be spent and earned. You can get more money, but you can't get more time. Once it's gone, it's gone. You can't get it back. So the key is to get more time as well as get more money. And wealthy people understand this. They don't just trade their time for money, they use leverage. That's what I'm talking about here. They use leverage. Leverage is when you multiply your efforts. Instead of 1 hour's work equals 1 hour's pay, sometimes 1 hour's work can equal multiple hours' pay. Things like creating leverage, creating a business system, an investment, learning a skill, building a system that can pay you. When you build a business system, it doesn't pay you straight up, but it will keep paying you perpetually. So you don't have to keep, when you build the system, it takes time, energy, effort, but once it's built, it'll keep paying you day in, day out, whether you're awake, you're asleep, or you're on holidays. And that's why rich people focus on building and buying assets and not just getting a paycheck. Assets like rental properties, businesses, investments keep producing income long after your work is done, once you go to bed. And if you stay stuck in your labor here, you'll always be limited by your time. Because even if you can increase your dollars per hour, it's tied to your time. But if you learn leverage, your money starts working harder than you do. And that's the key. Okay, principle number 2. Assets. Sorry, there's no... got too many S's there. Assets over expenses. Here's one of the biggest blind spots most broke people never see. The difference between an asset and an expense. Broke people spend their money on expenses. They like to go out. They like to buy things. They like to pay afterpay and get a car on a loan and rent. All those things. Get the latest phone. Eating out every night. Buying the latest clothes. And these things in the moment, they feel good, right? You're trying to keep up with the Joneses. You're trying to keep up with everyone in society. Everyone else has got the new phone, so I need the new phone. But they don't put money back into your pocket. Rich people, they focus on assets. And assets is something Robert Kiyosaki described it as. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. And when you design, build, purchase, go after assets, they continually put money in your pocket. Rental properties, a business, an investment, even a skill can be more valuable in the marketplace. You can upskill. When I started after my accident, all I had was a pension. I couldn't afford to waste money on anything. I had to watch every single dime. But I needed to start saving money and then focus on buying or building an asset so that I could grow money over time and not just rely on my time to get money. And here's the truth. If you don't know the difference between an asset and an expense, you'll always struggle. But once you shift your focus on buying or building assets, money starts working for you instead of always working away from you. Okay, principle number 3. 3. Long-term vision. Let's see if we can fit it here. Over short-term. Short-term gratification. Right. If there's an I there. One of the biggest traps that keeps people broke is choosing short-term gratification. It's what I want now, what I want in this moment, sacrificing the altar of the long term on the altar of the short term. You want the new clothes, you want the new gadget, you want the expensive dinner, even those vacations you can't afford, all bought on credit, future money that's going to cost you more if you don't save for it. And it feels good today, but it steals your tomorrow because it creates stress, anxiety, and ultimately doesn't feel good tomorrow when you've got to pay it back. And rich people think differently. They sacrifice today, they sacrifice this short-term thinking, the short-term items on the altar of the long-term. When I first started purchasing my first rental property, I had to save, I had to put money aside and put that money on a deposit to buy an investment property because I knew if I didn't spend this money on a new car, a new clothes, a new phone, but I started saving it and putting it aside, that this asset would over time start growing and building an income for me. When I started building my finances after my accident, trust me, I didn't have much at all, but I knew if I spent less than I made and started saving money, I could build wealth over time and for generations, buying and building assets, creating freedom. And here's the secret. If you can delay gratification, if you can trade a little pleasure today for a bigger reward tomorrow, you put yourself in a small group of people who actually get ahead. Short-term thinkers stay broke. Long-term thinkers build wealth. Okay, here's number 4. The 4th formula. Value creation over time exchange. Most people are stuck in the mindset that the only way to make money is by trading your time, and we've already talked about it, for it. Work an hour and get paid an hour. That's what school has taught us. That's what the whole system is designed to keep us stuck. But rich people think differently. They think, how do I create value creation in the marketplace? How do I find something that people desire, something people are missing, and try and create a creative and practical solution for that? Rich people think differently. They don't just exchange time for money, they create value. When Steve Jobs invented the iPhone, he went out there and said, what do people need? How do I create a beautiful solution for what people need? And he created the iPhone. Then people said, well, now we need apps for the iPhone. So they started designing and building apps for the iPhone. They figured out that we need to create value for the iPhone. Then people figured we need chargers. So we started designing and selling chargers and phone cases and screen protectors, and the list goes on. So because people continually figured out ways of creating value, then the marketplace desired it and wanted more. And now hundreds of millions of dollars have been built and purchased in phone protectors and screens and chargers and apps, you name it, right? Because Steve Jobs had the vision to create value for the marketplace. Think about it. If you mow one lawn, you get paid once. But if you design a lawn care system, or hire a team, or create a tool that thousands of people can use, you can get paid over and over and over again without linking it to your time. You've got to build the system. After my accident, I realized my energy was limited. My time was limited. I couldn't rely on my labor, my physical things. I couldn't walk. I couldn't use my hands properly. So I had to find other ways to create value in the marketplace. Didn't just depend on my physical being. My mind is an asset that I can grow and develop and place value in the marketplace. I can invest in stocks and bonds and rental properties. These are ways to create value in the marketplace, what we're talking about. Here's the truth. Broke people sell their time for money, and rich people sell or create value in the marketplace. And if you wanted to build wealth, stop asking, how can I earn more? And start asking, how can I create more value for others again and again? So I hope this really helped you. I hope that that these 4 formulas, leverage over labor, so focus on leverage, assets over expenses, focus on buying and building assets, long-term vision, don't get you caught up in the day-to-day, and value creation. Don't get caught up in just figuring out how to trade your time for money, but how do you create value in the marketplace over and over and again. So appreciate you for watching. Thanks so much. Like, subscribe, and I can't wait to see you on the next video.